Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be going over 7 ways in which you can start generating passive income. I'm not going to be going over these obscene examples in which you need tens of thousands of dollars up front, but instead how with a relatively small upfront investment, whether that be in the form of capital or time and effort, how that can be traded for passive income down the line. It's important to be upfront and say that generating passive income is not easy. It's a grind. This is not going to be a get-rich-quick scheme. You really do have to put the work in ahead of time so you can reap the rewards in the future. It's money being inputted into your account without your active current output of effort. If you are disciplined, if you really want it, you can make it happen. You might not see benefits for days, weeks, months, potentially years down the line. But once you get there, you will be so happy you did. You'll be so happy you have this extra money generating you wealth. I'm going to be doing lots of videos like this, going over different ways that you can generate passive income. I'm going to be doing stock analysis series. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So maybe you have a specific set of skills, some unique knowledge. You have a knack for conveying information and teaching, and you think that this knowledge that you might have could be beneficial and add value to somebody else. There are a number of ways for you to leverage this knowledge in the form of passive income. Many people are taking their pre-existing knowledge and designing courses, PowerPoints, or videos. There are a vast number of websites where you can design these courses. Coursera, Udemy, Skillshare. So maybe you have a really detailed comprehension of filing personal taxes, or hairdressing, or plants, or marketing, or managing. Anything you've really mastered, you basically allocate your time up front by designing a really comprehensive, slick, detailed course in which you upload to the website. The website then handles all the marketing of the specific course. They will take a small percentage cut and you get the rest of the profits. After you've spent all this time working on it, you can essentially sit back, relax, watch the income be generated into your account week after week. And I know some people who do really make a ton of money designing courses. With the rise of the gig economy, a lot of people are looking for new skill sets, are really eager to learn and to accumulate knowledge. Take a crack at it. Maybe this can be your new hobby. Multiple income streams, can't beat them. All right, number 2. I think this is one of the most interesting and truly passive forms of passive income out there right now, and virtually requires no work up front. And that is lending out your current assets to borrowers. This can be done in a plethora of ways. The sharing economy is really on the rise as people find more expensive assets truly discretionary, whereas previous generations might have found these assets mandatory. Virtually every single item you own that has substantial value can generate passive income. Let's start with your house. So everyone knows Airbnb, but I'm not sure everyone is truly aware of how much people who rent out their homes or specific rooms on Airbnb actually make. According to a survey conducted this year, the average Airbnb renter makes approximately $1,000 USD per month. And this obviously can vary depending on location, frequency, space, but the great thing is that it is truly passive. You might be away for the weekend, you might be going on vacation. It might give you peace of mind knowing that there is actually someone in your house, making sure it doesn't burn down, making sure it doesn't get broken into. Especially if you live in a touristy downtown hub, you can really leverage this to generate yourself some passive income. I was traveling a few years ago and rented a room on Airbnb, and this guy had essentially converted his entire house into pretty much a hostel, but he was making roughly like 120 USD per room, and there was about 6 or 7 rooms, so he's making, let's say, 400 or 500 after fees every single night. I know laws are tightening around doing this depending on your jurisdiction, where you live. However, Airbnb still remains a very valuable source for passive income. So what if you don't own a house? Maybe you're renting, you live downtown, you live in an apartment, but you have a car that you sometimes use. Car sharing is on the rise as many people find it more affordable simply borrowing a car when they require using one, rather than owning a car and paying car insurance every single month on a vehicle that they infrequently use. Car sharing apps such as GetAround and Turo broker the exchange. You can even rent out your car by the hour or by the day, by the weekend, by the week. It's essentially whenever you want to, and there's insurance provided by these companies, so it's not sketchy. On the other hand, maybe you don't own a car, but you own a parking spot. You can rent out this parking spot, especially if you live in a downtown core. A lot of people who drive to work find it more affordable to use these park share programs rather than using street parking or underground parking. Apps like Rover, Stashbee, and JustPark broker these deals for you. The list of items you can rent out virtually goes on forever. You can rent out your textbooks, your construction tools, your music equipment, literally almost anything you can think of that has some sort of value to it, you can rent out. And trust me, there is an app that will broker this deal, I guarantee you. All right, moving on. So the next form of passive income I want to talk about may seem a little counterintuitive, but I think a lot of people miss this one, and that is proper use of a credit card can be a form of passive income. Cards such as cashback is a form of passive income. Let's say you have $10,000 on your debit card throughout the course of the year. That is going to cost you just that. It's going to cost you $10,000. However, if you had used a cashback or rewards program card for every single transaction throughout the course of the year on this $10,000, you might get anywhere from $50 to $400 back. It's not a lot, but it's something. It's more money into your pocket. So savings or passive income, it's semantics, but it is more money into your pocket for doing virtually nothing. Many cashback programs start at $0 annual. Other credit cards offer a higher percentage on all purchases, however, come with a somewhat small annual rate. Make sure you're paying these off immediately, and then you basically just reap whatever rewards on that credit card. Whether you like traveling and you have an Air Miles card, or you just want the cash back, there are a ton of credit cards, and it's really important to be able to harness them and use them properly starting from a young age, not only to reap these rewards, but to also build good credit, which is going to help you in your future. All right, the next passive income strategy I want to talk about is an Amazon FBA business. Have you ever looked on Amazon for something and it's not really there, or the quality is lacking, it's not exactly what you wanted? This is exactly where Amazon FBA comes into play. So the FBA stands for Fulfillment by Amazon, and it is essentially where Amazon will store products that you have made or sourced in their warehouses and will handle the shipping of these products to buyers. When an order is placed on one of your products, Amazon facilitates the entire process from packaging to shipping it, and they will take a small profit and give you the rest of it. Many Amazon FBA owners will source their products from massive conglomerates, typically overseas, like Alibaba, have the items customized to their specific likings and constructed in typically a factory, and then shipped directly to the Amazon warehouses. Therefore, you don't have to order, let's say, 400 foam rollers to your house and then ship them to individual customers every time an order is placed. This whole process is just wiped out clean. There's a lot of work up front for starting an Amazon FBA business, finding a product that is high demand, that you can make a profit margin on, something where the marketplace isn't already saturated. But if you do have that product, you can go onto Alibaba, which directly puts you into contact with these factory owners. Pretty much have conversations with them, designing your product. Once you're happy with that product, put in a bulk order. This order is shipped to the Amazon warehouse, and then you're pretty much set to go. All you have to do at this point is keep up with the demand of your product, make sure the Amazon warehouse has adequate units, and sit back, relax, and try to market your product as best as you can. People make hundreds of thousands of dollars per year with their Amazon FBA businesses. It's actually insane how much some people make. All right, so being a musician, I'm kind of cheesed. I only thought of this next one within the past few months, and seeing how much people are making off music is incredible. And I'm not talking about things like Spotify or Bandcamp. If you have any experience making songs or beats, you absolutely have the potential to generate passive income by licensing and selling your music. With the ever-increasing usage of platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, people are constantly and increasingly looking for music to run along to their videos. You can use websites such as TuneCore or CD Baby to license and distribute your music for you. They take a small profit and you take the rest. Obviously, when somebody buys your music or your song, it's not like you generate a ton of income. So the game here is to diversify, get into different genres, make as many beats as you can, make as many songs as you can, get as many items onto the platform as possible. The more numbers you have, obviously the more income you're generating, and this can exponentially increase over time. The really popular songs get like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of downloads and can actually generate some real money. All right, the sixth form of passive income, it's a bit more traditional, but it happens to be one of my favorites. Good old-fashioned way, however, it's essentially foolproof. I am talking about dividend investing through the stock market. So companies will pay out their shareholders dividends, which is essentially just a fraction of their earnings. They do this in order to recruit shareholders in the first place. It's expressed as a percentage point and represents the percentage of the share price that is given to you in the form of a dividend. So therefore, a higher dividend yield is essentially more bang for your buck in terms of dividends. So let's say you buy a share and that share is priced at $100. They have a dividend yield of 5%. Annually, for just owning that specific share, you are going to receive 5% of that $100, which is $5. So let's say you own 2 shares, you would get $10. What you do with that dividend payout is up to you. It's just money into your account. You can spend it however you like. However, the best way to increase your wealth and increase your passive income is to take that dividend and reinvest it back into the market or some other investment vehicle. An easy way to ensure that you are reinvesting these dividends is through DRIP programs or dividend reinvestment programs, where that dividend payout, instead of cash into your account, is converted back into shares of that specific company at no extra fee or brokerage charge. So essentially, you are over time increasing your stake within that company, owning more and more shares. Therefore, the dividend becomes bigger and bigger and bigger on a recurring basis. This is essentially the basis of compounding interest, or making interest on top of interest. Even though your income isn't really materialized and is essentially locked into the stock market until you sell your shares, your dividend payout will be increasing each quarter or annually as you are increasing your stake in the company, therefore harnessing that specific dividend payout yield on a greater number of shares. Many companies also increase their dividend payout on a recurring basis, and if these companies have increased their dividends over a certain amount of years, typically 5 or 10, they can be considered dividend aristocrats. Big companies that have the ability to pay out increasing dividend yield on a recurring basis. I have a full other video on my 5 favorite Canadian dividend stocks if you're interested in investing in dividend stocks. The last form of passive income I want to talk about is peer-to-peer lending, also known as crowd lending. Peer-to-peer lending is exactly what it sounds like. It's lending of capital to other individuals or companies who are then taking on a debt. This debt is then paid back with interest. It's essentially a way to cut out the middleman, which in many cases is large financial institutions. And with peer-to-peer lending, these borrowers can usually get lower interest rates, and a greater sum of profits is thus paid forward to the apps that broker these deals and the actual lender. Many people would suggest go through a more traditional, stable route, such as stocks and bonds. However, in the least, I do think peer-to-peer lending requires some attention, and I do think it is quite interesting, as you can allocate your money based on your risk tolerance. Basically, the risk tolerance correlates to a borrower's credit score. So somebody with a higher credit score, it's going to be less risky, less risk, less reward, high risk, high reward. It's essentially how it works in the stock market. Websites such as Prosper, Lending Club, and Upstart broker these deals while taking a small cut for themselves. A borrower will ask for a sum of money on the platform for a specific purpose. That purpose is then given a risk profile. It's pretty interesting. You can go through and pick a borrower that fits your own personal interests, essentially lend them money, hoping for a high interest rate. The interest rates are typically assigned at the beginning, however they can fluctuate quite a bit. So do look into this, do your own research on this if you are thinking about peer-to-peer lending as an an investment vehicle. All right, guys, those are my 7 ways to generate passive income. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some value out of it. I hope you young little entrepreneurs are thinking of ways to generate your own passive income, sitting back and reaping the rewards. It gives you that freedom and that supplemental income. If you found anything beneficial, informative, go hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. I'm going to be doing lots more videos like this. You don't want to miss any of that. So go hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much.